Thank you for joining me for my research proposal, which is about the impacts of bullying. Good evening. My name is Melanie Rachel Onno, and my research topic is the individual and contextual factors shaping teachers' attitudes and responses to bullying in early childhood. So this is my table of contents. We're going to talk about the research questions, the definition of bullying, the rationale of the selected topic, statistics of bullying, social factors leading to bullying, theoretical framework, research methodologies, data collection. We're going to talk about the findings and the discussion, which is brand new, and we're going to talk about the timeline and references. So these are my two research questions. So the first question aims to ask what are the educators' perspective on the causes of bullying in early childhood education and care? And the other question is how can bullying be prevented and what measures are being taken to minimize it from happening in the early years setting? So here is a definition of bullying. Bullying is the action of repeatedly assaulting someone by spoken words and action that will make the other person feel worthless. Just like you can see in the picture as well, some people are saying, "Oh, nobody likes you. They're being awful. What can I do?" So we're going to talk about, in terms of statistics, how much bullying is happening at the moment. So the Australian Human Rights Commission states that actions that are usually done by people who have more influence or power over someone else, or who want to make someone else feel less powerful or helpless. There are several types of bullying, such as face to face, verbal, physical, and social bullying. So, this is the rationale of the selected topic. I chose to research about bullying as it is a topic that needs further investigation, especially that the subject is not touched upon in regards to early childhood. Furthermore, for me, bullying is something very personal because I have been bullied in my early years, and it is important to reflect the not just the trauma, but the impact that it has as a long term for someone who has been bullied in the early years. Because nowadays, in terms of research, nothing has been researched yet to show that okay, bullying is happening in the early years rather than Australia as a whole put so much emphasis on primary school, secondary or tertiary school, where bullying is such a huge thing. But have we ever tried to think how about bullying started when being in early childhood? So that's a question to keep in mind. So here are the statistics of bullying. The statistics indicate that bullying has been on the rise amongst young people, including cyberbullying that is via the internet, and the statistics indicate that 42% have been bullied online and 4 of them have been verbally attacked. 35% have been verbally abused online and 77 have admitted that being victims of bullying. So according to the chart, we can see as well, like the first set of graphs say like this is the physical, how much there is a physical intimidation, which is up to 19%, while the second one is the relational aggression that people can where children can bully each other, and it goes up to 48. It goes up to for digit of 48 in from 10 to 13 years. And last but not least, there's the internet cell phone harassment that occurs through any types of digital technology. So this is the risk factors of bullying. Those who are at risk of being bullied may have one or more risk factors, such as are seen as different from their peers. For example, they might be overweight, they can be underweight. They may have like a different hairstyle or the different clothing, or just because of wearing glasses and compared to the people who doesn't, or just simply because they are different in terms of race, ethnicity, color, age. So all of these are types of bullying where it goes forward and bullying occurs. Another another risk factors is seeing that people are are weak or not able to defend themselves. Some people are depressed, anxious, and have a low self-esteem. Some people have few friends or are less popular, or it happens where people do not socialize well with others or suffer from an intellectual or developmental disability and considered different from other people. So here are the theoretical frameworks that really touch upon what I believed in. So first of all, there is Brofenbrenner, who comes with his ecological model and says that here the child is in the middle, and the first people that he'll be influenced with will be the family, then the peers, and the educator. This is very important because being the child in the middle, it is important that they have good and a strong bond with the educators, that it starts from early childhood, and that it reflects that the self-esteem builds little by little through this stage of development. Secondly, Reggio Emilia advocates for the environment. Loris Malaguzzi say, um, the environment is the third teacher, and his and where early childhood professional scaffold children's learning through the environment. So having a safe and secure environment is very important for cases like bullying. Another view is that post-structuralism has a different view of the world as being critical in compared to the structuralist approach. The approach states that meaning is not stable and that there are multiple truths. Michel Foucault believed that power is a discourse. The meaning of power can be interpreted through various meanings, and in addition to that, power between children to prove the superiority of others. Michel Foucault came with the discourse of power, where he explained that power can be interpreted in different ways. People uses power to show who they are, to show or to go forward in the within the social status in the social class, just like in the Marxism point of view. So, um, in regards to what Foucault say in terms of power, people misuse the terminology of power, where they believe that bullying another child using superiority and using all diminishing another child, and this use of power becomes useless because the child becomes voiceless, and this is not in the way that we want to use power to go forward and diminishing a child by bullying a child. So the research methodologies that I have been using is a mixed method approach. Will be used using both qualitative and quantitative research approaches to investigate about the impacts of bullying in early childhood. It is important to have on one side a qualitative and a quantitative so that we can mix the methods to, so that we can mix the method together and have like an approach that will can bring a mixed method through. Early childhood educators will participate in surveys that will question the past experiences about bullying in a childhood setting, thus being a long day care, preschool, and a OSH service across New South Wales. So the data collection will be done by a survey. So the data will be collected through SurveyMonkey, which will have a set of 10 questions. The surveys will be sent to early childhood professionals through blogs or social media, mostly social media, through an invitation letter to childcare centers asking to participate in the survey. So the participant will get a letter of consent and a cover letter so that they can participate and have an idea and overview of what the research is about. So the participant, just like I mentioned before, is the educators, the pre-service teachers, or the kindergarten teacher. So here is the findings. So I divided the time of the findings into two different sections, which is qualitative and quantitative. So first of all, in terms of the findings that I have found, according to the Survey Monkey. So first of all, so I asked about the definition of bullying, which pre-service teachers were asked to describe the definition of bullying in every aspect, where some of the responses describe bullying as, some people describe it as unkind behaviors, it was threatening, discriminatory, or diminish someone else's feelings. Some people stated the definition of bullying like unkind, like act of words to another individual of or group of individual that happens over a period of time has a negative impact in that individual or this group. There have been like answers like some people will use threatening, like picking on people for nothing that they have done. If that can be done physically, that can be done verbally, or in any other ways. Some people can be discriminatory, such as like using being very verbal, making a person feel bad, physically making a person like be, like discriminate the person using words, hurtful words. The other one is a safe environment. What can be done? So another qualitative question was, are we living in a safe environment? Like the workplace in early childhood, do early childhood professionals feel that are they in a safe place, are they in a safe environment, are children, do you think that children are in a safe environment for them to achieve or for them to learn and grow and play on? But if, and the question was asked, but what can be done if you believe that this is not the case? Who is creating this atmosphere that you believe this is not happening? Moving on. So another question was the qualitative impact in the further impact in the future. So what do you think in the future will be a further impact for the child who has been bullied being in the early years? So growing up, going through school readiness, going to primary school, like what will be the set of mind like wow when you think when we're gonna grow up and what gonna be the state of mind of a child? Would they develop holistically and finally, so what can be done to combat bullying? So this is another qualitative question that I did ask within my research and ask, for example, what can be done to combat bullying? Because in an early childhood service, what is being done in the service today that we are trying to, because like I mentioned before, the statistics was pretty high, but what are early childhood educators doing forward to bring self-confidence to children who has been bullied in the past, and what are we doing in the service to reduce and to combat bullying, to, to just completely eliminate any chances of bullying with zero tolerance of any sort of bullying. On the other hand, so there is the quantitative findings, which first of all, this was the first question was in regards to the witness bullying. So I did ask a question about like, have you ever witnessed bullying before? And so for early childhood educators, be able to think and be like, did I ever witness bullying before? So there was a total of just getting research questions. Sorry. Pardon me. So there was like 55% of participants that responded yes, they did, um, they did witness, they did witness bullying in an early childhood service. And on the other hand, there was um, there was 7.5% that stated that they never or haven't witnessed bullying so far. Next question was, what is the annual frequency of bullying? Pre-service teachers were initially asked how many times have they seen a child bully another child in a year in an early childhood. A total of 15 pre-service teachers responded they never, but they never saw anything of this during the year in an early childhood. And 9 responded that they saw it once or twice a week. Um, the next question is, so I asked pre-service teachers, like, what are the types of bullying? What do you think that you can witness or do you think exists in early childhood in terms of bullying? So pre-service teachers were initially asked what types of bullying, such as physical, verbal, social, cyber, or in the early childhood. So a total of 16 pre-service teachers responded that the type of bullying they witnessed is verbal. Using in early, which means that in early childhood, most of the most mostly the type of bullying that's happening has been in terms of verbal. And some of them say that there have been some children who would physically bully another child just to get it. That could be for various reasons. Maybe they were upset, maybe they would want more attention, or maybe an educator is giving the other child more attention than they're used to. So the only way that they're dealing with the situation is to bully the other child, unfortunately. The next question is, coping with the situation that, for example, if a pre-service teacher witnessed any types of bullying, so how would you react to the situation? How would you manage a bullying event? Like, what would you do as a pre-service teacher? Would you interact? Would you interfere? Would you let it go? What would be your initial reaction? Like, what have you been taught to do? Or have you been taught or have you not been taught to do something against bullying? Which was a really interesting question where most of the nearly 80% of the pre-service teachers responded that they tried to stop the bully immediately. And 70%, around 70% of the pre-service teachers say that they will refer the case to someone which is up in the hierarchy. So, which is either the room leader or the director, the educational leader, the nominated supervisor, anyone who can take this in charge and who would know how to deal with it. So the next question is, what reason do you think that someone may bully a child? Why would a child bully the other child? Like, because thinking that in early childhood, children are known as being innocent. So why would they react in such a violent way or harmful way? And a total of 19 pre-service teachers responded that children want a level of superiority. They want to feel like I am the best and you are not. Where they feel just like Michel Foucault said, like there is this level of superiority, this level of power that they want to overtake from this person, where to get that could be maybe they want more attention, maybe because just like I said before, the educator is giving the attention to the child, where this is becoming upsetting and they are not used to it. So there have been 19 around 50% of the teachers who responded to the survey said that those children is the reason why would be because they need more attention, and the superiority of power will of, overcome as well. And finally, but not least, the last question asked was, is training provided? Just like I mentioned before, so what is in an early childhood service? What are the service doing against cases like bullying? Is something being done? Is training being provided? So the teachers, the people in the service, have they been trained to deal with a situation where there's a case of bullying happening? And do they have actually the words or the reaction, like the proper words and the proper reaction to deal with such a case of bullying? Like how long is the training? Are webinars being done? Are courses being implemented in regards to dealing and reducing the amount of bullying happening in early childhood? Moving on, so this is my discussion that came up through the Survey Monkey that I have asked through to all the early childhood professionals, where the discussion came where the image of the child in portraying power is becoming more of like overpowering, where just like I mentioned before, children want to feel the power, this idea of being superior to other children, thinking that they are being the best because they used to be the center of attention, and they are looking for, just the second point says, there is a lack of attention that children want from educators and from the teachers for them to be the number one, and they need this attention from the educators that they're not getting, and the only way for them to get this attention is for is is to bully another child. Another interesting fact that came up was these were poor role models. So if the children who are bullying another child are exposed to poor role models, where whatever they see, this is what they're gonna reproduce. Like they're gonna reflect and do and repeat the action. So this will be due to the poor role model. If as an early childhood, as a teacher, I need to be able to role model the proper behavior. So if a child is being upset, I need to be to go into the child and be stop, let's talk about it, and not bully each other or push each other or use verbal connotation for the other person to be devalued and diminished and be have a low self-esteem by just the word, by the verbal language that the child may use. Another factor will be the home environment. In which environment are we living in? In which environment is the children living in? For them to bully someone else, for them to bully another child, are they is this is what they're seeing in the environment? Is are they living in a vulnerable environment where they are just trying to take the frustration out? It is important to go beyond just the idea of bullying, and it is important to have conversation with children. It is important to inculcate the education, to give children high quality education where we go beyond and talk to children what is bullying, put the words out there and tell them, okay, what is bullying? So this is how do I feel if I'm bullying another child, putting ourselves, learning what is empathy, putting ourselves in the shoes of the other person, learning, talking about feelings, talking, having books like that educators can read during a group time, for example, and talk about having listening to the voices of the children. Why why would I feel this way? Why is it not good that we bully someone else, or rather, we use our words or anything in that regards. And last but not least, so there is the further training needed that we discovered within the discussion and throughout the findings, that there is a lack of training that's happening in early childhood, where there are so many courses out there that educators need to go and find and go and read about it, because there's an amount of a number of teachers who said that they don't have the experience in dealing in such situations, and it is important for early childhood like directors to support educators who want to go further and talk about and learn about situation, how to deal with situation, what to say, what to talk to the child, how to talk to the parents, and approach the issue, like all of this, that the whole glow that surrounds the whole issue about bullying. So this has been so moving on to my timeline. So this has been my timeline. So for week one was the review of the proposal. There was the data collection from week two to week five. Week six to seven was interpreting and analyzing the findings, and finally finalizing the research report. And now I'm presenting the research to you. And here is my references. And I would like to thank you. Thank you for listening. Um, Bullying has been a very interesting topic to write about, and there is so many research out there coming up in terms of early childhood or birth to 8 years, which touches on the issues and the effects and the context of bullying, and how can we do our best to provide a quality education to reduce any chances of bullying, up to zero tolerance of bullying, where children can be safe and children can be safe and secure, like within the skin and within who they are in an early childhood service. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.